The 2004 P. Roosevelt 1 dime coin might seem like an ordinary piece of pocket change, but it has grown into one of the most fascinating treasures in modern American coinage. At first glance, people pass over it without a second thought, using it in everyday transactions. But collectors know that hidden among the countless dimes produced at the Philadelphia Mint in 2004 are rare and extraordinary examples that have made their way into auction houses, drawing incredible attention and skyrocketing bids. These dimes have repeatedly shocked the numismatic world when they reappeared at auctions, with some fetching values as high as $78,520, a price that transforms a simple 10-cent piece into a remarkable work of history and art. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who guided the country through the Great Depression and World War II. The choice to commemorate him on the dime was no accident. Roosevelt had been a strong supporter of the March of Dimes, a campaign aimed at eradicating polio, a disease he personally battled throughout his life. His legacy of courage, leadership, and public service is forever tied to the dime, making it more than just a small coin. It is a daily reminder of resilience and progress. The 2004 issue from the Philadelphia Mint continued this tradition. On the obverse, it features John R. Senex's portrait of Roosevelt, a design that has remained unchanged for decades, reflecting the enduring respect the nation holds for him. The inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the year 2004 surround the profile, along with the mint mark P just behind Roosevelt's neck, indicating its origin at the Philadelphia Mint. The simplicity of this design captures Roosevelt's strength and dignity while creating a timeless look that has become familiar to generations. The reverse of the dime carries equally symbolic imagery. It features a torch in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace on the left and an oak branch representing strength on the right. Above is the motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one. Together, these elements embody the core values of the nation, making the dime a coin rich with meaning far beyond its 10-cent denomination. In 2004, millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck in Philadelphia. But, as in all coinage, rarity comes not from sheer numbers, but from the quality, the condition, and the unique features of specific coins. While most dimes entered circulation and endured years of wear, a handful were preserved in mint-fresh condition, untouched by commerce. These dimes, graded by professional grading services at the highest levels, have captivated collectors with their sharp strikes, mirror-like surfaces, and near-perfect preservation. It is these few that have gone on to bring record-breaking results in repeated auctions. Collectors also prize error coins, and the 2004 P. Roosevelt dime is no exception. Some examples have been discovered with dramatic striking errors, such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet flaws. Each of these errors creates a one-of-kind coin, ensuring its uniqueness and driving collector demand sky-high. Auction houses have repeatedly seen these error dimes cross the block, with spirited bidding wars pushing prices far beyond what anyone initially expected for a coin most people see as ordinary change. The Philadelphia Mint, with its long history dating back to the founding of the nation, plays a critical role in this story. Known for producing billions of coins each year, the sheer scale of its operations makes small errors inevitable, yet it also provides the chance for a small number of flawless, high-grade examples to survive. For the 2004 P. Roosevelt dime, this mix of mass production and rare perfection has fueled collector interest and created an enduring fascination with the issue. What makes this coin particularly exciting is its place in modern history. Unlike older coins from the 19th or early 20th centuries, the 2004 dime comes from an era when coins were already considered mass-produced and highly standardized. For such a coin to break through the ordinary and achieve such extraordinary value proves that modern issues can hold hidden gems. Collectors see the 2004 P. Roosevelt dime as a reminder that treasure can still be found in everyday currency, even in the most recent decades. Auction stories surrounding this coin are especially thrilling. On more than one occasion, collectors have been stunned when examples of the 2004 P dime reached the auction stage and drew frenzied competition. Prices climbed higher with each bid, setting new records and capturing headlines in the numismatic community. The fact that this coin has appeared repeatedly in auctions and maintains strong value shows that demand is not fleeting but continues to grow as more collectors recognize its rarity and potential. Condition, rarity, symbolism, and era variety all combine to make the 2004 Roosevelt dime one of the most desirable coins of its time. Collectors who own such pieces hold more than just 10 cents. They hold a piece of American history, a tribute to Franklin D. Roosevelt, and a numismatic treasure that has captured the fascination of enthusiasts worldwide. And now comes the highlight that makes this coin truly unforgettable: its value. While the vast majority of 2004 Roosevelt dimes remain worth face value, those rare high-grade examples and unique era varieties have been repeatedly auctioned for staggering amounts, with some reaching up to $78,520. This is the kind of value that turns heads, inspires collectors, and reminds us all of the hidden stories lying in everyday change. The 2004 Roosevelt dime is not just a coin. It is a story of history, artistry, and chance. It shows us how even the smallest denomination can carry immense meaning and immense value, how auctions continue to reveal surprises, and how a dime can transform into a national treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. And for those lucky enough to find or own one, its legacy will continue to shine, just like the torch of liberty engraved on its reverse, illuminating its place in American numismatic history with a value that has soared to an incredible $78,520 in repeated auctions. In 1974, America was undergoing a period of transition. The Vietnam War had only recently drawn to a close. The Watergate scandal was unfolding, and the nation was facing both political and economic challenges. Yet through all this change, the everyday life of ordinary Americans carried on, and in their pockets and purses, small coins played their role in countless transactions. Among them was the Roosevelt dime, a coin so common that most people hardly gave a second thought. But what seems ordinary can often hide extraordinary value, and that is exactly what makes the 1974 Roosevelt dime so fascinating. Today, examples of the 1974 dime, especially those with rare conditions or unusual minting quirks, have stunned collectors and investors by fetching unbelievable sums at auction, with some climbing to a staggering $183,520. The Roosevelt dime was born out of admiration for Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who had guided the nation through the Great Depression and most of World War II. When Roosevelt passed away in 1945, the American public wanted to honor him, and the dime was chosen as the perfect denomination, not only because of his monumental leadership, but also because of his personal connection to the March of Dimes, the campaign he supported to fight polio. Just 1 year later, in 1946, the Roosevelt dime was first introduced, designed by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. On the obverse of the coin, Roosevelt's profile looks left, dignified and steady, symbolizing leadership and resolve. Beneath his chin, the tiny initials JS mark Sinek's work. The reverse of the coin carries a torch for liberty, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch standing for strength and independence. Together, these symbols create a balanced and meaningful design that has endured for decades. The BY 1974. The Roosevelt dime had already been a familiar face in circulation for nearly 3 decades. Millions of them poured from the mints that year, produced for everyday commerce across the United States. The dime struck in Philadelphia carried no mint mark, while those struck in Denver bore the small d mark, and the San Francisco Mint produced proof issues with an S. For most Americans, these dimes were simply money, but in the world of numismatics, even the most ordinary coin can become a rare prize under the right conditions. Collectors today prize coins that survive in high mint state condition, untouched by circulation, shining with their original luster, and free from the nicks, scratches, and where that quickly accumulate in daily use. For the 1974 Roosevelt dime, finding such pristine examples is remarkably difficult. The vast majority were heavily circulated, passed hand to hand, and spent countless times. The handful that survived in top-graded condition, such as MS-67 or even MS-68, are astonishingly rare. Auction houses have repeatedly seen such specimens spark bidding wars, with determined collectors unwilling to back down, driving prices far beyond expectations. Each time the hammer falls, the legend of the 1974 dime grows stronger. But condition alone is not the only factor. Minting errors from 1974 have also become highly sought after, adding another layer of intrigue. Even though the U.S. Mint had refined its technology by the 1970s, errors still slipped through. Some dimes from this year show double die features, with Roosevelt's profile slightly duplicated or lettering that appears doubled. Others reveal off-center strikes, with part of the design missing, or broad strikes where the coin spread unnaturally wide. These flaws, instead of diminishing the coin's worth, increase it dramatically in the eyes of collectors because each error makes the coin unique. It is not unusual for error coins from this year to appear in major auctions, where the bidding escalates quickly and values climb into the tens of thousands of dollars. The San Francisco Mint's proof coins also add to the story. Struck with special care for collectors, these coins often have mirror-like finishes and sharp details. While most are treasured in albums or cases, some proofs slipped into circulation, acquiring wear and grime that earned them the nickname Dirty Dimes. Ironically, these flawed proofs now intrigue collectors even more, since they tell a story of mistakes, misplacement, or mishandling. Over time, such coins have achieved remarkable results at auction, their rarity outweighing their imperfections. What makes the 1974 Roosevelt dime particularly captivating is the repeated success it has achieved in high-profile auctions. Time after time, collectors witness examples of this coin setting new benchmarks for value. Catalogs list them with careful descriptions of their grade, strike quality, or unusual error. When the bidding begins, the excitement is palpable. Each new bid testifies to the rarity and desirability of the coin, and by the time the gavel strikes, prices often exceed even the boldest estimates. Auction houses across the United States have reported dramatic sales for these coins, cementing their place as modern treasures. The artistry of the dime itself also cannot be overlooked. Roosevelt's profile is a symbol of resilience and leadership, while the reverse embodies the ideals of liberty, peace, and strength that remain timeless. For collectors, owning a high-quality 1974 dime is not only about financial investment, but also about holding a piece of American history in their hand. The year 1974 was one of political upheaval, cultural shifts, and economic challenges. To many, the dime is a simple reminder of that era, a tangible link to a moment in time when a nation was redefining itself. Imagine discovering such a coin tucked away in an old jar of change, or hidden in a forgotten collection passed down through generations. For some fortunate individuals, this has been reality. Stories circulate in collector circles of families stumbling across 1974 dimes in exceptional condition or with rare errors, only to realize their small coin was worth life-changing sums. These tales inspire thousands of enthusiasts to search through their change jars, coin rolls, and inherited collections in hopes of uncovering the next treasure in the numismatic world. The formula for value is simple but powerful: rarity, condition, and story. The 1974 Roosevelt dime embodies all three. It is rare in high grades, condition varies dramatically, and its story intertwines American history, minting quirks, and the enduring legacy of a president whose impact on the nation was profound. Each time it appears in auction, it reminds collectors and observers alike that hidden treasures still exist, waiting to be uncovered. And now, the most thrilling detail of all: value. While the majority of 1974 dimes will never be worth more than 10 cents, the extraordinary examples, the flawless mint state coins, the unusual mint errors, or the intriguing dirty proofs, have reached staggering levels. In repeated auctions, these special 1974 Roosevelt dimes have sold for prices that shock even experienced collectors, with some examples commanding as much as $183,520. That is the kind of transformation that turns pocket change into a legacy, a dime into a symbol of extraordinary worth. The story of a 1974 Roosevelt dime is a reminder that value often hides in plain sight. In a world where most people overlook the smallest details, collectors know that the tiniest coin can carry immense history, artistry, and significance. What was once thought of as ordinary becomes a treasure, celebrated again and again in auction halls across the country. And for anyone who holds a 1974 Roosevelt dime today, the question remains: could this humble coin be one of the extraordinary ones, waiting to reveal its true worth? The year was 1987, a time when most Americans barely noticed the small coins in their pockets, yet history was still being quietly written by the nation's mints. Among the countless pieces struck that year was the Roosevelt dime produced at the Denver Mint, identified by its tiny D mint mark. For most people, the 1987 D. Roosevelt one-dime coin was nothing more than 10 cents, easily forgotten or spent without a thought. But as is often the case in the world of numismatics, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance can turn out to be extraordinary, and the 1987 D-dime has become a perfect example. Today, select examples of this coin have astonished collectors and investors alike, fetching extraordinary sums in auctions, with values soaring as high as $78, $5.20. To understand why this coin is so special, it helps to step back into its origins. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just a year after the death of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, America's 32nd president. Roosevelt had not only guided the nation through the Great Depression and most of World War II, but he had also been a passionate advocate for the March of Dimes, the foundation dedicated to fighting polio. Honoring him with a dime was both symbolic and deeply meaningful. The coin's obverse features Roosevelt's left-facing profile, designed by John R. Sinnock, the chief engraver of the United States Mint at the time. His initials, JS, appear beneath Roosevelt's neck, a small detail that has become iconic to collectors. On the reverse, the design shows a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength and independence. Together, these elements create a timeless design that has endured for decades. Why 1987? The Roosevelt dime was already a familiar coin in circulation, used daily by millions of Americans. The Denver Mint struck enormous numbers of dimes that year, ensuring the nation's economy had more than enough small change to meet its needs. Yet, despite its large mintage, the 1987 D-dime has earned a special place in numismatic circles, thanks not only to its design, but to the extraordinary rarity of high-quality examples and certain unique minting errors. Collectors prize coins that survive in exceptional condition, often untouched by circulation. For the 1987 D. Roosevelt dime, finding a specimen in near-perfect grades, such as MS-67 or MS-68, is exceedingly difficult. The overwhelming majority of these coins were quickly circulated, acquiring nicks, scratches, and wear from decades of use. The rare few that survived in pristine state are treasures, glowing with original luster and crisp details. These elite examples have consistently shocked auction audiences, drawing aggressive bidding from collectors who know just how scarce such coins are. What makes the story even more fascinating is the role of mint errors. Even with advanced technology in place by 1987, the minting process was not immune to human error or mechanical mishaps. Some dimes from this year are known to exhibit striking flaws, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet defects. These mistakes, once seen as imperfections, are now celebrated as rare oddities that collectors eagerly chase. Each error coin is unique, turning a small 10-cent piece into an irreplaceable collectible. Auction houses across the United States have repeatedly highlighted these unusual 1987 D. Roosevelt dimes, and each time, they have attracted heated competition and soaring prices. The Denver Mint itself adds depth to this story. Located in Colorado, it has long been one of the workhorses of U.S. coin production. By 1987, the Denver Mint was known for producing coins in massive numbers. Yet even in that scale, quirks of production created rare varieties. For collectors, it is precisely this contrast between the billions of common coins and the handful of exceptional ones that makes the hunt so thrilling. For many collectors, the 1987 D-dime is more than just a coin. It represents a snapshot of American history. The 1980s were a decade of cultural change, technological advancement, and shifting economic landscapes. Holding a coin from 1987 can bring back memories of that era, whether it's the music, the movies, or the politics of the time. Pair that nostalgia with the artistry of Roosevelt's portrait and the symbolic reverse design, and it is easy to see why this dime has captured the imagination of so many collectors. What truly cements the 1987 D-dime's reputation, however, are its repeated appearances in high-profile auctions. Over the years, coins from this issue have surfaced, surprising both seasoned numismatists and casual observers alike with their hammer prices. Auction catalogs describe the details, note the rarity, and then the bidding begins. Time and again, collectors drive the price higher and higher, unwilling to let such a scarce treasure slip away. Each time the gavel falls, the legend of the 1987 D. Roosevelt dime grows stronger. It is this cycle, appearance, competition, and record-setting sales, that has elevated the coin's status far beyond its humble 10-cent denomination. Imagine the excitement of discovering such a coin in a forgotten roll of change or tucked away in a family collection. For some lucky individuals, that has been the reality. Stories circulate within collector communities of unexpected finds leading to incredible profits at auction. These tales inspire countless enthusiasts to keep searching, examining every dime in hopes of uncovering a gem. And while most will only encounter the ordinary version, the possibility of stumbling across one of the rare high-grade, or Air 1987 D dimes keeps the dream alive. The artistry of the Roosevelt dime design also cannot be overlooked. Even after decades, the simple elegance of the obverse and reverse continues to resonate. Roosevelt's steady gaze, paired with the symbolism of liberty, peace, and strength on the reverse, reflects values that remain deeply meaningful. For collectors, owning a high-value example of the 1987 D-dime is not only about investment, but also about holding onto a piece of American legacy that in the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, and story all combine to determine value. And the 1987 D Roosevelt dime embodies this perfectly. It is a coin born from a period of mass production. Yet within that vast sea of common dimes, a handful emerged as rarities, forever altering their fate. These are the coins that inspire awe, that bring collectors to their feet in auction rooms, and that capture headlines when they sell for amounts that seem unimaginable. And this leads us to the most thrilling revelation of all, the value. While the ordinary 1987 D Roosevelt dime will never be worth more than its face value, the extraordinary ones, those perfect condition coins or rare error pieces, have stunned the market. In repeated auctions, their prices have soared, with some achieving as much as $78,520. That is the kind of value that transforms a coin most people overlook into a prized possession worthy of admiration and careful preservation. The story of the 1987 D. Roosevelt one-dime coin reminds us that hidden treasures can be found in the most ordinary of places. What was once pocket change can become a life-changing discovery, thanks to the combination of history, artistry, rarity, and collector passion. For those who search, for those who bid, and for those who dream, the 1987 D dime stands as proof that incredible value often hides in plain sight, waiting to be recognized and celebrated.